Something I just found out that I didn't know the whole time. The whole time I'm going to the Baptist church, they were doing this scripture memorization on a website, and then they would quote the memorized scripture during Sunday school. I've seen them do the memorized thing myself, um, but I thought they were just memorizing it on the spot during Sunday school. I didn't know they were memorizing it throughout the week, until Sunday school. You know what I mean? I didn't know that. I was trying to, and not like I was trying to memorize it like on the spot. You know. Yeah, that's me, bad. Yeah, fast. But anyways, the scripture that they showed me the memory. I was showing what they have a new scripture to memorize every week. So I was shown um, the scripture this week that they're memorizing, that they will say on Sunday morning that they memorized. Because I guess there's some truth to scripture memorization and changing the way that you think. There might be some truth to it. Scripture memorization from the Bible changes the way you think for the better. You know what I'm saying? So that's what God showed me. Because He knows my thinking isn't the greatest yet, as you guys know. My thinking isn't not the best. It sometimes goes into the pits. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so this is the scripture this week to memorize. You've heard it before. A lot of you've heard it before. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, 9 through 10. It's Paul talking. My main man, Paul, who used to be Saul. And he says, and before the memorizing, they before the Baptists say the memorized verse, they say the letter of the verse, like A. They'll say A because it starts with and. So they'll say the scripture, 2 Corinthians 12, 9 through 10, and then they'll say A, and then they'll say the scripture. They were doing all this. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but now it's explaining to me why they do this. So, and the scripture is, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for Christ's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. That's pretty much God saying, take pleasure in the persecution. Take pleasure in being reproached. Take pleasure in your infirmities. All right. I'm taking pleasure in it. Literally. Bring it on. Target me. Bring it on. I'm taking pleasure. For Christ's sake. Anyways. Because God knows I'm like, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't want to deal with any more nonsense. Because when you're put up for all to see, you're a sitting target. You are but just some Joe Schmo down the street can target me on YouTube. Some Joe Schmo that believes in, weird stuff, could target me. That's what I realized. Just some weirdos. I'm a weirdo too. you know, some people that believe in the tooth fairy could target me. You know, they worship the tooth fairy. They could target me. You know what I mean? Who knows? It's endless. So, anyways, so God showed me there's power in scripture memorization to clean out your mind of all the junk of this world that you've seen. Because God knows I've seen a lot of junk in this world. I have. I've seen the underbelly of this world. I have. God knows it. These eyes have seen the darkness of this world like you would not believe. Like you would not believe. grew up around psychopaths. I grew up around psychopaths in a cult. I've been in the, and then I've been in like the occult arena as well, because I didn't know what was true. I'll do another video about that, about how the occult sees things, sees God, how they see things, compared to how the Mormons see God. I might do a video about that next. But how they see God as a force. They see God as the force or a source, like Star Wars. God is a force. Nothing personal about God. He's a force. I'll do a video about that. But anyways, this is about scripture memorization to keep your mind straight, so it's not all over the place like my mind always is. So, you know what I mean? Replace the nonsense in my mind with the word, basically. Get all the nonsense out of my mind, replace it with the word. That's what God's trying to do. Slowly but surely, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get my mind cleaned out with the good stuff. Put good in, bad out. Good in, bad out. That's the strategy to clean the mind. Good in, bad out. So that's what scripture memorization is for. Anyways, that's all I'll say.